Hi everybody and welcome back to our video blog. Thanks again for tuning in. Want to get to 2 or 3 topics this morning and hope that you find them interesting, and as always we look forward to your feedback. The first is the disappointing news coming out of San Francisco after the Giants San Francisco 49ers playoff game that resulted in the Giants winning based on a couple of tough turnovers at the end by the young man Williams, who was the kick returner. And it apparently has led people to feel like it was appropriate for them to make death threats against him and his family because of their disappointment in the outcome of the game. I always find it incredibly hard to understand how someone could let the emotions of a football game get them to the point where they would want to commit a federal offense and threaten the life of someone and their family because they were disappointed in the outcome of a football game and felt like one individual was responsible. I'm not even going to get into the issues around how, 53-man roster, everybody's responsible, and that one person doesn't lose a game for you, because that would suggest that a person's death threats were somehow acceptable. It's never going to be acceptable, and it kind of speaks to how people can lose their perspective around the importance of these types of games, and it makes me wonder if we keep pandering to the gambling element of sport, and we do that every day by looking in the media and in the newspapers, online, and on television shows that always are talking about the point spreads and who to take, who's the underdog. We know where all of that is pointed, and I wonder if that's not where the frustration builds when people have put hundreds or thousands of dollars on the outcome of a game, and then because of a turnover or something, a missed field goal, as in the Patriots case at the end, it changes the fortunes and maybe has cost somebody a lot of money. But for whatever reason, it's not appropriate. We can't condone it, and it's really disappointing that people feel like that's something that they're entitled to because they've invested their emotions in that particular team. Secondly, speaking of the football outcomes and the games from this past weekend leading to the Super Bowl, one of the things that is the unfortunate byproduct of the hype and popularity of the Super Bowl is it also is the day when the domestic violence incidents go up to their highest number in this country. We get more reports of domestic violence during Super Bowl Sunday than at any other time of the year. It's a head scratcher, and it's really disappointing and upsetting that, again, the frustration that comes from people being so invested in the outcome of the game would lead them to want to take physical violence against someone that they're supposed to be in a relationship with and supposed to have affection for. I hope that that's not the case as we go forward and continue to educate people about the issues that contribute to men's violence against women. I was proud of being a part of the initiative with the Beanpot schools at the State House this week when we joined forces with Jane Doe, Inc., all of our Beanpot colleagues, the attorney generals, the district attorneys from Middlesex County and Suffolk County, as well as the lieutenant governor, to raise awareness around the need for all of us to take an active bystander approach and to not stand idly by when we think there are domestic violence issues at play. And so I hope that our efforts and the efforts of so many others out there around domestic violence and sexual assault will see that those efforts are being heeded, they're showing results, and we start to see the things that happen around the Super Bowl start to diminish. Lastly, I get questions about the hiring process when we're hiring coaches or administrative staff, and what that process includes, and what's the criteria that we might use for selection of coaches and that sort of thing. There are some out there not just in higher ed, but across many industries that use search firms to try to maintain a level of confidentiality and put the onus on the search firm to create a talented pool of candidates that they would bring forward for the hiring institution or organization to review and then whittled down through whatever committee they might have working on that hire. We have yet to revert to a search firm for any of our hires. We don't feel like it's something that we need to do at this point. We do obviously care about maintaining confidentiality with respect to all of our hiring situations, because we want to make sure that people that are in positions where they're very successful would be interested in working at Northeastern, but we don't want to hurt their situation at their current employer should that be the case. The other thing is, you know, it all for us starts with kind of two things. One is, what kind of person are you? That's fundamentally an issue for us. Is we have to be convinced that you are a person of character, that you're going to be someone that will fit into our culture, that will promote our values and be a positive influence on the young people that we're here to serve. So it really does start with the individual and who they are as a person. And then the next question we typically want to know is why. Why do you want to be here at Northeastern in our athletic department, working with us as colleagues, working for this institution, and working on behalf of these student athletes? What is it that you know about Northeastern's mission? What is it that you know about the culture of the institution? What is it that you know about what we're trying to do in athletics and on behalf of the student athletes? What are your motivations? Because the answer to those questions is going to have a large bearing on the decisions that any person makes while they're here working with us on behalf of our student athletes. And if their aim is not true, if the reasons why they want to work in athletics aren't consistent with our own values, it doesn't have much to do with education or nurturing young people or helping them reach their full potential, then they're probably not a good fit for Northeastern athletics. And then in the case of wanting to try to find coaches, for example, and especially coaches for women's teams, there's always this discussion about what's the appropriate way to enter into a search for a women's coach. Is it important that you try to find a female to be a role model and an influence on the females on that particular team? Is it more important to just find the best coach? And so what is the criteria that we use? With respect to women's coaching positions, I think we always go into the process hoping that we're going to be able to attract a quality pool that includes both male and female candidates. If it were all equal, we would probably look to try to hire a female if all things were equal, because we do want to provide those role models for our females, and also to continue to promote the idea that women are capable of being successful head coaches at this level. But just as importantly, whether we're finding a female or a male coach, we have to have someone who's committed to coaching women. And so in some of the hires that we've made over the last several years, where we've hired a male coach for a female team, one of the things that you'll notice is that male coach had a history of experience coaching women's athletics programs. And so for me, that meant that this was a sincere interest on this person's part to want to pursue this career on behalf of female athletes, and was knowledgeable, comfortable, and committed to working with young women. So that's just a little bit of a peek behind the curtain, if you will, with respect to the criteria and the process that we might use for hiring positions here in Northeastern in the athletic department. So I hope that's been interesting to you. We look forward to your feedback as always. Please feel free to send us an email or tweet us at our Twitter account. Thanks for continuing to tune in, and we look forward to coming back at you next week with more insight into what's going on here at Northeastern and nationally in athletics. Thanks a lot.